Hello and welcome to my review of the Adeptus Mechanicus Pteraxii Sterylizors. Worth noting, this is a dual unit box set. You can build either the Pteraxii Sterylizors, which I have, or the Pteraxii Skystalkers. The set will set you back £35. It's pretty much the most expensive jump pack infantry set out there, except for obviously the 3 Venatari, which would set you back £42. But still, this is a big leap up from anything we've had before in terms of the Space Marine Assault Squad, the Inceptors, or even the Sisters of Battle Seraphim box set. The Inceptors, I think, are £30 for 3, which is quite pricey, whereas the Seraphim box set, that is also a dual unit kit, much in the same vein as this. However, the wings are bigger in this, and I think that's one of the reasons why they're priced so high. We'll have a look at the spare parts a little bit later on and go through their rules and the reasons why I've equipped them as Sterylizors and not Skystalkers. First of all, they are a bit of a pain to build in terms of the mould lines, specifically the wings. There's a fair bit of mould lines. The weapons aren't too bad and the legs aren't too bad and everything else. It's just the wings that you may well have a bit of an issue with. There are more parts than I expected. This kit does include 3 sprues, but if you're comparing this kit to the Sulphur Hounds kit, I'd go for the Sulphur Hounds kit if you're on the fence about them. It's nice that we get another fast attack option for Adeptus Mechanicus. There were only kind of 2 fast attack choices before, and it is nice to see mini versions of the Archaeopter in terms of these wings and their shared aesthetics with the flyer. Now let's have a look at the models themselves. I swear Games Workshop are trolling me right now. I should really, it serves me right, I should really buy a load of white tack to just put these on the bases, because they're on the wobbly stands at the moment. It's always best not to glue them on the stands before you spray them and paint them, because, you know, unless you want to wrap your flying stand with a load of tape, you're going to end up spraying your stand, which, yeah, can get messy. Let's have a look at these models then. I'll try and give you a modicum of detail. So there we go. Got these amazing looking flamers. You've got these talons as well, which is another reason why I chose the Sterylizors. One thing to note is they're all going to look the same. The arms and the weapons can only go one way. And so can the heads, which again is very disappointing. You know, the heads are connected to hoses of their chest, so whether you build the Sterylizors or Skystalkers, there's a lot less posability in the kit compared to the Sulphur Hound box set, which I do prefer. The wings are always going to be in this position. You can't swap the wing backpacks out with any of the others, because they specifically go onto these particular backs of the models, which again is, yeah, it does suck that we're getting less and less posability, but that's at the price of cooler looking models, I guess. And one may say that, well, you're rarely going to go against another Adeptus Mechanicus force. However, from a collector's point of view, it does dissuade you from buying multiple packs of these models if they are going to look exactly the same. Anyway, moving on. So that's one of them. This is another one of them right here. Looks very similar to the one that I just picked up, really. Just the wings are in a slightly different kind of pose. Speaking of which, they do share a fair amount of aesthetics with the Archaeopter. Let me just sort of zoom out, see if I can give you a little look at what we're talking about. So he's going to fall off, isn't he, if I nudge him anymore. But look, as you can see, the wings, they have the 4 flaps, but they have like an extra talon flap, or I don't know what the actual term is called, but even the tail looks very similar to that one, and it even has these coiled bundles of wiring as well, much like the Archaeopter. So it's nice that they do share that look. But what I would have liked to have happened is some kind of conversion where they're hanging off of the wings, or I don't know, I just feel like they could have had a bar or something, so you could, if you wanted to, just glue them onto this thing. A bit like the Tyrannid Harridan from Forge World. If you've seen that, that one actually has a load of massive flying unit for the Tyrannids, and that one actually, you can build it so that it's got gargoyles sort of upside down waiting to be released. And I would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen the designers sort of incorporate these little kind of flying frogs. Well, you know, they're not really flying frogs because they've actually got proper talons instead of the you know, little frog feet that the Archaeopter has. But I would have liked to have seen them sort of merge both of those units together, because they do share the same looks. This guy, probably one of the weakest looking units. Yeah, just what is he even doing? He's got his flamer out like that. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that one. This one, it's not too bad, sort of leaping off somewhere, flying about, hunting for a target. That's not too bad. And then the Alpha. Yeah, the Alpha looks exactly the same. It's going to be exactly the same as the Skystalker. You can see it on the box just there. Look, that the taser toad, no, the taser goad, sorry, is in the same position, and so is this flechette carbine thing. The only difference is the head. And the fact that it's got talons on as well. That is the only difference, which is really disappointing. I would have liked to have seen the Alpha have some kind of beefy flamer, like tri-barrel flamer, or I don't know, just go crazy. Don't give it this kind of weapon option that, you know, the Skystalker has. You know, because the Skystalker's weapon, the carbine, really does fit well with the rest of them, whereas this guy looks like he's just flown in from the Skystalkers and you know, joined this squad of sort of heavy flamers, you want to call them. But yeah, so that's a bit disappointing that you're going to have an Alpha that looks a bit out of place, and if you were to get a second set, then there's not going to be much difference between both of the Alphas, unlike the Sulphur Hounds. I know I keep harping on about the Sulphur Hounds, but it is a really, really good kit. That's all the detail of the models. They are a bit tricky. There are some mould lines, of course, and one or two of the poses are a bit, yeah, not the best. Anyway, let's have a look at the spare parts. They're right here. You obviously get 6 flying stands, just because they come in 2 packs of 3, so I've got a spare one. And then these are all the parts that I didn't use. There is actually a spare phosphor torch, and that's because you know, if you don't make the Alpha, then you can make a normal one. And speaking of which, there aren't hardly any options for this whole unit. If you're going for the Sterylizors, you only have one pose to go for, and that's throughout all of them. So if you were to get another box set of these, and you had the ambition of having them all in different poses, for, you know, 2 squads of Sterylizors, one in one pose, one in the other, you can't do it. The only option you have is to swap out the Alpha with another Sterilizer using this phosphor torch. That's the only option you have. The other 4 are going to look exactly the same as these 4, and that's completely different to the Sulphur Hounds, which have 2 posable options per model, with the exception of one particular hound. But if you want to know exactly what I'm talking about, please do check out the Cerberus Raiders review that I put up last week, I think. Please do check out the Cerberus Raiders review and the upcoming Sulphur Hounds review. What else do you get? Well, you get the number of heads that didn't use for the Skystalkers. You get these grenades, which are quite funky, and you know, I suppose you could put them on other Mechanicus models. They're really nice looking grenades, a bit like sticky grenades. Then you've got the flechette carbine weapons, which, yeah, do look sort of very, I say, modern warfare-esque. But also they've got a bit of a steampunk vibe going on, you know, but yeah, you've got like a drum thing there, and then an actual magazine, and then yeah, really long, I want to say it's a silencer, but it may just be a different compensator or something, but yeah, that's that. And you've got various arms. If you've got the different little feet, they actually you know, they give you two options of feet for these. You know, you can have the talons, which are specifically for the sterilizers, or you can have just the normal little feet claws for the Skystalkers. And that's about it for the spare parts. So like I say, you're basically getting the parts that you didn't use for the Skystalkers. So actually for 3 sprues, not a huge amount of parts left over. And I do question how you could use them in your other Adeptus Mechanicus models. Anyway, that's all the spare parts. Let's do some size comparisons. So I wanted to do a size comparison with the other fast attack first of all that I've got. So here is an aforementioned Sulphur Hound. Gives you an idea, these things do have quite a large presence, you know, quite a large wingspan. Maybe we're going to see some conversions of these grappling onto people, or you know, attached to certain models. I think they give you great scope for some of the dioramas and things in Warhammer world. Can't wait to see them put to good use there, along with the Sulphur Hounds. I'm sure they're going to be very creative with them. But yeah, just to give you an idea of sort of the size wise, you know, they've got quite a large wingspan. You know, wingspan is wider than sort of, I want to say two Sulphur Hounds maybe. Yeah, so if you thought that they do take up a fair amount of space, and I think that's one of the reasons why they are the price they are, because of the large wing apparatus jump pack thing that they've got going on. Compared to another fast attack, I recently got a Ballistari. Yay! So, you know, I'm getting there with the Adeptus Mechanicus collection. I haven't even done the unboxing video for this yet, so this is a, you know, exclusive for the channel, I guess. But yeah, just to compare it to that, I mean, I think this model is a 30 odd pound model. I can't remember off the top of my head. That, and before, this is the only sort of fast attack Adeptus Mechanicus had, but now we've got these jump pack guys, and we've got the Sulphur Hounds, and so yeah, it's coming on. Adeptus Mechanicus are becoming quite fast. I don't know whether they're sort of effective fast in the way that Eldar are, but definitely some cool looking models, becoming quite a cool looking army, I think. Okay, moving away from the fast attack, I just wanted to show you it with another jump pack. I don't have any Raptors nearby, but here is a Zephyrim, and I just wanted to give you this size comparison, that the Skystalkers are bigger, the Sterilizors in this case, are bigger. You know, they've got the long talons on there, they've got the longer weapons, their jump pack, I guess you want to call it, or, you know, or mode of transport is way bigger. I hope this size comparison gives you yet another example of just how much space these things take up, you know, size wise. So there you go, that's that then compared to Sisters of Battle. I've got an engine seer, Tech Priest engine seer, if you wanted to see how big they are. I mean, the engine seer is probably a bit bigger height wise. Next to the Manipulus, again, wingspan is sort of bigger, but he's a fair bit taller. I don't know if these size comparisons help. Even with the Ranger, similar sort of height size to a Ranger, just it looks like wearing less armor, but with a jump pack. And then a couple more size comparisons I want to make with some Imperial units. I've got you know, Space Marine on the left, Sly Marbo, and then Primaris. So that gives you some idea of where it stands. I mean, the wingspan covers all three. Look, just perch him on top of Sly's haircut. But yeah, that's how they kind of stack up. So yeah, they are bigger than I kind of expected they would be, compared to, you know, other units that I have in the army. That kind of surprised me how big their wings were in total. There we go. Okay, this is my part of the review where I will go through all of their rules. Unfortunately, you won't find these sterilizer rules in your instruction guide that you get with this kit. The kit only includes the rules for the Pteraxii Skystalkers, so that does limit you if you don't have the Psychic Awakening Engine War book, which will cost you another £25. So you won't find their rules in the normal Adeptus Mechanicus Codex, but you will need that Codex to work out all the canticles of the Omnissiah. So to use this unit to its full potential, its full capacity with all the rules and things, you're looking at spending £85 for the 5 miniatures to get both the codexes and this box set. So they are a fast attack choice. They're a power points cost of 4 and a points cost of 17. How does that compare to the Skystalkers? Well, the Skystalkers are also a power points cost of 4, but they are slightly cheaper at points cost of 15. Their points cost of 17, their phosphor torches and the Pteraxii talons and the flechette blaster are all free, but you will need to spend an extra 4 points for the Alpha's taser goad. So their stat line is exactly the same stat line as the Skystalkers, which is a movement of 12 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill both 3+, strength 4, toughness 3, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 6 and a save of 4+. That's pretty decent. You know, they're a bit squidgy at toughness 3, but they do have 2 wounds, and their weapon skill and ballistic skill is pretty good. The Alpha has an extra attack, so 3 attacks, and a better leadership of 7. The unit contains 1 Pteraxii Sterilizer Alpha and 4 Pteraxii Sterilizors. It can additionally contain up to 5 Pteraxii Sterilizors for a power rating of +4, so you can have 10 of them in a unit. The Alpha is equipped with a flechette blaster and a taser goad. Every Pteraxii Sterilizer is equipped with phosphor torch and Pteraxii talons, which, as I mentioned, are basically free. You don't have to pay any points for them, so 17 points per model, quite good. So the Alpha's weapons then, he's got the flechette blaster, which is a range 12-inch, pistol 5, strength 3, AP 0 and a damage of 1. That's not too bad. You've got 5 shots there at 3+. They're just a bit weak and they don't really do anything with AP. The taser goad is a strength of +2, which means that he's now got a strength of 6, AP 0 and a damage of 1, but when resolving an attack made with this weapon, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores 2 additional hits. That's quite nice. You know, if he's got 3 attacks and let's just say you get 3 6s, which is extremely rare, but you've then got 9 attacks with that one. You've then got an additional 2 attacks per hit, which would be 6 + 9, so you get 9 attacks in total, so has the potential of scoring a lot of attacks there. They are all equipped with this phosphor torch. It's a range 12-inch, assault D6, strength 4, AP -1 and a damage of 1. When resolving an attack made with a weapon, you don't make a hit roll, it automatically scores a hit. Kind of defeats the point of them having a ballistic skill of 3+. In addition, the target does not receive the benefit of cover, so that's quite nice, you know, that it's hitting automatically. Strength is alright at 4, I guess, and you're stripping away that armor penetration with an AP -1. Say you get really lucky and you get 4 6s, that's 24 automatic hits at AP -1. Quite nice. If you had a unit of 10 of them, I think that would help achieve that number, because it is assault D6. You know, you could get 4 1s at the end of the day and only score 4 hits. And it's a bit of a gamble with this unit, because like I say, they are a bit squishy. They are movement of 12-inch, so that they can fly away, and I'll talk about one of their special rules in a moment regarding that. Then finally, these particular sterilizers have Pteraxii talons, which the Skystalkers don't, and I was really baffled by them not having these. I just think that if you've got them on these sterilizers, why on earth wouldn't you have them on the Skystalkers? Anyway, the Omnissiah works in mysterious ways and decided not to have them on the other unit. So the talons is strength of the user, which is still 4, AP -1, damage 1. Now, this weapon has a strength characteristic of +1 if the bearer made a charge move or performed a heroic intervention this turn. That's brilliant. That encourages you to charge with this unit, because then you're getting strength 5 attacks, and they've all got 2 attacks, obviously except for the Alpha there, but the Alpha there does have the talons too. Now, abilities. If they have Canticles of the Omnissiah, Bionics models in this unit have 6+ invulnerable saves, so same as the Raiders and the Silverhounds, so you get 4+ normal, 6+ invulnerable. Now this is one of the amazing rules that they have called Soar Away. At the beginning of your movement phase, this unit can boost into the skies. Remove this unit from the battlefield. It can return to the battlefield as described in the Thermal Raiders ability. This unit can not both soar away and descend in the same turn. If the battle ends while this unit is in the skies, this unit is considered to be destroyed. Fantastic. So beginning of your movement phase, you can just remove them off the table. They've gone away somewhere. Thermal Riders works a little bit like Scout Rule. During deployment, you can set the unit up in the skies instead of setting it up on the battlefield. If you do so, or the unit has boosted into the skies using the Soar ability, using the Soar Away ability, at the end of one of your movement phases, you can set this unit anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from any enemy model. So that's fantastic. So you can use these guys. If you think they're gonna be threatened, you can just fly them away in the movement phase, but then you've got to wait until the end of your next movement phase to bring them back onto the table to kind of deep strike them. And finally, the last rule is swooping strikes. If this unit makes a charge move, add 1 to the attack characteristic of models in this unit until the end of the turn. Again, more of a reason. You've got double reasons to attack. 1, because of the Pteraxii talons, which plus strength for 5, and the second ability is when they make a charge, and the second reason is you're adding 1 to the attacks characteristic. So now all of a sudden 4 of these have now got 12 attacks, with the Alpha having 4 attacks. So nice 16 attacks there, pretty decent. So that is probably the underestimated use of them, is in combat with that extra strength of a strength 5 and the sheer number of attacks that they can pump out. 10 of them is nothing to be sniffed at all, in my opinion. I think they're actually more useful than their phosphor torches because of that random chance of you failing those phosphor torch D6 rolls. Keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Mechanicus, Skitarii, Forge World, Infantry, Jump Pack, Fly, Pteraxii, Sterylizors. So final little note is, how do they compare to the Skystalkers? Well, from a game point of view, they are more useful. The Skystalkers still have the Bionics and the Soar Away and the Thermal Riders rule, but they also have those arc grenade clusters, whereby you can select one enemy unit that the whole unit has moved across, and you roll 1d6 for each model, but you add 2 to each result if the unit is a vehicle, and on a 5+ enemy suffers 1 mortal wound. So that's quite nice if you manage to move them over a whole unit, but like I say, their movement speed isn't 30 inches or anything crazy like that. It's only 12 inches, so you run the risk of being in assault range if you do that, and the mortal wounds is only 5+ of getting those mortal wounds, but it is on each model in the unit, and even more of a chance over vehicles. Might be a cheap way of getting a few mortal wounds on vehicles. And a little bit about their weapons. The Skystalkers' flechette carbines are much longer range at 24 inches, so they've got an effective range there of 36 inches, and they are a solid assault 5 shots as opposed to the D6 randomness of the phosphor torches. Although they are quite weak at strength 3, they don't have an AP, they only have damage 1, and they don't do the things that the torch does, which they have an AP of -1, they have a better strength, and they ignore the cover. A better weapon, but obviously weakened slightly by the randomness of the number of hits you're going to get. That's it for my review. What do you guys think of the Pteraxii Sterylizors? There may never be a review on this channel of the Skystalkers, just because I feel that that unit looks so similar to this unit, posability wise, and I strongly feel that this unit is a more useful unit in game. But what do you guys think of the models? What do you guys think of the rules? Do you think they are a bit weak? Do you think they needed something extra? I think the Sterylizors do deliver, especially if you're going to use them in a big group of 10, you know, swooping away and harassing your enemy. I think the Skystalker's a little bit weak, and I would have liked to have seen something extra for them. Maybe a special weapon. I think that's what they're lacking, these two units, is some kind of special weapon. You know, the Sulphur Hounds have this Phosphor Blast Carbine. That's what I was kind of expecting with this squad. Some kind of like tri-barreled flamer or flame grenades, or I don't know, something extra. Flaming Talons, I don't know, just something extra for this unit and for the Skystalkers. But I guess the soaring away and the swooping strikes and things is their unique selling point. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments below as always. It'd be great to hear what you have to say about this unit. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Omnissiah protects.